Welcome to this episode of the Mindset Flex podcast. This is your host, Elise, and today we're talking about taking control of your life when you feel like you have no strength left, when you feel like all hell is breaking loose in your life and you are in insane amount of pain. And I think a really good example of the most amount of pain that someone can experience is going through heartbreak. Missing someone that you can't have, missing someone that is around, maybe someone you see every day, missing something so much because it brought you so much goodness, so much happiness. Maybe it brought out the best in you. Maybe you just didn't even think feeling a certain way, like feeling the way that this person made you feel was even possible. And then when you experienced it, you were like, holy cow, like this is real. This is possible. I never want to live without this in my life. But unfortunately, that's not how life works. And, you know, a lot of times we experience pain, we experience heartbreak, we lose people, we lose friends, we lose significant others, we lose people that we fall in love with, and we go through heartbreak. And it can feel so painful that we feel like we can't go on. Like, I don't know if you've ever felt heartbreak that was so painful that you felt like you were going to die. Like literally you're like, this heartbreak, my heart hurts so bad that it's literally going to be my death. Like it's going to be the end of me. I've been there. I've felt that. And it is truly the worst feeling. It really is the worst feeling in the world. And yesterday I actually had a girlfriend of mine who messaged me saying, please, I'm so unhappy. I'm in love with someone who doesn't love me back. I don't know what to do. I can't even focus on anything. I cannot see a life ahead of me. And I understand this pain and I want to empathize and I want to just give you a hug if you're out there and you're feeling this, because I have felt this on very deep levels. I felt like I couldn't go on in life. I felt like I didn't want to live my life without this person. Again, when we're talking about this heartbreak, you know, I found the best thing that's ever happened to me and now it's gone. And how am I going to live my life? So what do you do in these times? How do you go on? How do you deal with the pain? What are you supposed to do? And this can come from family stabbing you in the back, or friends that you thought were there for you, that you thought were your best friends, maybe turning against you and stabbing you in the back. That's heartbreak. That shit hurts. So what do you do when you feel like everything is cloudy and you don't even see a point in life? You don't. You're so sad. Your heart hurts so bad. Sometimes it's hard to breathe. Maybe when you see this person, your whole body goes into shock and you literally feel like passing out right then and there. So let's talk about this. Let's dive into this. My response to my girlfriend was one simple sentence. What do you want out of your life? And that's what I'm asking you right now. Okay, whatever pain you're dealing with, I need you to put that aside for a second and ask yourself, what do you want? So what do I want out of my life? What do I want out of my life? Because in these times when we're dealing with so much pain, we're so clouded. All we can think about is this other person that has hurt us, this whole situation. That's all that's playing in our minds. But that is a distraction from the enemy. That is literally a huge distraction, and it's a waste of life. It's a waste of time. So I'm not a huge Harry Potter fan. I've seen all the movies once, and I recommitted to like rewatching them around Halloween because I'm like, that's a great time to rewatch them. And we got to like 3 movies, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can keep watching these. They're so long, and I'm like, it's kind of a waste of time. But there are some great lessons in there, and I believe it was the first movie. Yeah, it was the first movie where Harry found this mirror. And the mirror, like when you sit in front of it, you see your greatest desire, like what you really, like you just desire for. And he would spend time coming to this mirror and just sitting there and watching his desire, which was his parents, like seeing his parents. So a lot of times when we're going through heartbreak or we're going through like so much pain that other people caused us, we sit in front of a mirror where we hope, like our desire is things to be fixed, or our desire is being with this person. And we literally waste our life sitting in front of this mirror. And that is a trap, because that doesn't take us anywhere in life. So I need you to put your pain aside. I need you to put your desire of what you want aside. And I want us to focus on answering the question is, what do you want out of your life? That's where we start. Because if you are dealing with heartbreak of someone who you want to be with, the person who is the love of your life, you think, and if you are with this person, they're going to bring you happiness, they're going to bring you fulfillment, they're going to complete you. That's how you feel. That's why your heart is so broken. You need to realize that that's not actually going to happen, because happiness is a fleeting feeling. Happiness is not really real like that. Like, happiness does not stay. It's just a feeling. It's just like how sadness is a feeling, how anxiousness is a feeling, and anger is a feeling. All those things are fleeting. They change. So it's not really happiness that we're longing for, we're looking for. It's peace. You want peace in your life. That's what we all want. So how do we get peace? Well, you think you're going to get peace if this situation gets resolved, but that's not actually true. Peace comes from within, and you need to figure out who you are and what you want out of life before you bring anyone else into your life. And that's a huge trap that we fall into, thinking, well, if I'm going to be with this person, they're going to complete me and I'm going to be who I really want to be. So when I asked my girlfriend what you want out of life, that was my only answer to her telling me about how unhappy she is and how much she loves this person that doesn't love her back, and how she cries every day and doesn't have an appetite and can't really focus on life. Her answer was, well, I'm still working on that. And I know that a lot of people are still working on that. And you get distracted by thinking that if you have certain people in your life, you're going to figure that answer out, but you won't. You cannot wait for someone to come and rescue you. Nobody will. Nobody is going to pull you out of the darkness that you are in. And I'm very familiar with this because I have been in many dark situations. And like I said, I've dealt with heartbreak twice, really, really bad, like so bad that I thought it was going to kill me. And I was waiting for this person to change his mind or come and rescue me, make me feel better, fix everything. And that never happened. And I stayed in my darkness. I stayed in my depression. I stayed in my self-pity for a long time, for like a good 6 months. And that's a big block of my life when I look back. So I learned from that situation. And when I say I was in it, guys, like I was not willing to get out of bed. I mean, there were days where I'm like, I'm staying in bed. I see no purpose in my life. Everything sucks. This is stupid. When you just have that pity party and don't even care what anybody else says, what anybody else thinks. You are just in your pain because it's so strong. So the first thing that you need to do when you are in it and you're dealing with pain and it's clouding you is put the focus back on you. Take the focus off of the person. Okay, put them aside. I know that it's there. I know the pain is there, and that's okay. You don't have to numb it. You don't have to pretend it's not there. I just need you to put a pin in it, okay, and put the focus on you, and maybe grab a journal and start asking yourself questions. What do I exactly want out of my life? Who do I want to be? Do I want to leave a legacy? And if I do, what do I want that legacy to be? If I have kids, how do I want my kids to look at me? How do I want my kids to grow up and think about their parents? Right? Like, these are the things you need to ask yourself. You need to look into the future and think about, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind before you bring any person into your life. And even if you're married, like, no matter what relationship you're in, no matter what your pain is, this applies to everything. First, you need to take everything off of the table and look at yourself. Who are you? And if you're not really sure who you are, you need to figure that out. Who do you want to be? And you got to start small. Like I mentioned this in the other podcast episode, I think it was 2 episodes before, when I got so clouded about what I wanted because all hell was breaking loose in my life, I started with the very small things of like literally the only things that I knew I wanted, like my pro card or competing in skiing again, right? Those small goals that are really just me personally going after something that has always been on my heart. So we all have things that we've been wanting to do that we feel called to do, but maybe everyday life kind of killed that and we've forgotten about it. So I'm asking you, Who are you really and who do you want to be when you look at your future? What is the impact that you want to leave on other people's lives? How do you want other people to look at you? These are very, very important questions. And a lot of times, because we're not really sure, instead of working on these questions, instead of answering these questions and really sitting down and digging deep into who we are, we put this one aside. We put a pin in this one and we say, let me just focus on other people because that's easier. It's so much easier to put our focus on other people than to ourselves. And that's what we're going to do right now. Right now, it's just you, nobody else, no other problem, nothing. Your only focus is you. What are your goals and what do you want? And start making action towards it. Okay. So grab a pen and paper, grab a journal. If you're driving right now, do it when you get home and start writing 10 goals down. And commit to writing 10 goals down every day for the next month. That could be your New Year's resolution. All right, I'm going to write down my goals. I'm going to write down 10 goals in the present tense every single day when I wake up for the next 30 days, because that's how I want to start my year. And those are the things that you need to focus on. And when doubt comes in, you just take action. Like whenever you start to doubt yourself or start to get negative or start to be like, well, I just don't even know if this can happen. Not that like I can do it, but I don't even know if this is even possible. Or I don't even know like anything, right? I just feel unmotivated. Put all of that aside and just take action. Because here's what happens when you take action. You get distracted. When you are out there doing something, you actually forget about your doubt. You forget why you even thought that this thing that you want to do is not even going to work. Let me give you an example. So I deal with doubt in my life when it comes to skiing, literally all the time. It's really hard for me to control when these thoughts and feelings come up because it's very subconscious. It's something that's from my childhood. And I realize that like I have dealt with it. I understand it now. I acknowledge it. So whenever I go out there and I work towards my goals, like I have these huge goals when it comes to skiing, and then the thoughts come in of, why are you even doing this? Look at everyone else. Look at these 6-year-olds throwing cork sevens in the park. Like you can't even do anything. Whenever those thoughts come in, instead of giving in to them, I'm just like, okay, cool, that's fine. Let me go try a jump. And then when I go and try a jump, I can't think about my doubt. I can only think about that moment of trying to land that jump. So all of a sudden, I just distracted myself from the doubt that I created for myself. So if you're out there and you have these goals and dreams that you have held yourself back from, or these things that you want to do, but you are letting doubt come in, just take action. Who cares? Who cares if it's messy? Who cares if it's not perfect? It's not supposed to be perfect. Imperfect action is the best thing that we can do because we learn so much from it. So here's the thing about pain in our lives. Most of the time, we can't control that. We can control the things that happen to us. Okay, we can control when somebody doesn't love us back. We can't control if someone stabs us in the back. We cannot control the uncontrollable, which is other people's actions and the things that are happening to us. What can we control? Well, we can control our attitude and actions towards it. That is the only thing that you can control. And so you need to learn to control only the controllable. And you have to make a decision when it comes to this pain, when it comes to this thing in your life, right? Because this is the only thing you can control is your attitude and action towards it. So make this decision. What are you going to do? So right now, whatever pain that you're dealing with, you can actually choose to let the pain make you or break you. That is your choice. That is only in your hands, in nobody else's hands, because nobody else can control your attitude towards your situation, towards your problem, towards your pain. Only you can. And you need to recognize this. There's great power in your hand to make a decision. And once you make a decision and you say, you know what? Yes, this sucks. This hurts more than I ever thought this could hurt, or I'm feeling more pain than I ever thought I could handle. But I do have a decision to make. Am I going to let this make me or break me? So what do I mean by that? Well, you can put the focus back on you. Like I said, put the focus back on you. Whenever you're dealing with so much pain and you're so clouded, the answer is always self-development. Develop yourself. Get better yourself. Because here's the thing. If that person is meant to be with you, they will be with you. And it will be because you're the best version of yourself and you're coming together because you have already figured out who you are, what you want. And that person also figured out who they are and what they want. And when you come together, you bring two separate individual lives together, adding value to each other, right? Because that person has what you don't have and you have what that person doesn't have. And you build an empire together. So if you're heartbroken over someone else that doesn't love you back, you need to realize there's so much that's behind this. And maybe you are meant to be with this person, but it's not the right time because neither of you are ready. Neither of you are ready, and you need to put the focus back on you, work on yourself, get better at everything that you do, and figure out what your purpose is in life. And as you're walking in your purpose, the right person will come along to walk next to you. Do not fight the pain that you're going through, because a lot of times it just carries lessons that you need to learn. It points out the weaknesses that you have. It points out the places that you need to still work on. And it's a season, and you need to realize that every season passes in life. But don't waste a season. Don't just waste your life, sit back, cry, throw pity parties, and think that you are the victim, because these things that are happening to you, they're happening for you. And you do have the ability, if you make the decision, to make the best of them and to become the best version of you and come out of it stronger. It's a season. It will pass. So instead of fighting it or resisting it, you just got to use it. You got to use the pain to your advantage. And heaviness is good. It's powerful. So embrace the power and don't let it knock you down. It's up to you what you do with the situation, because the only thing that you can control is your attitude and actions towards it. So don't get hung up on the uncontrollable. Don't get hung up on how this person is treating you or how they're not treating you or what they're doing, because you cannot control that. Take your eye off of that and just realize that your only job is to surrender to the flow of life. And if something is meant to be, it will be. And you just have to believe that. You have to manifest that. And what does that mean, manifesting it? Live in that reality, live in that truth. Don't stress over it. Don't knock yourself down over it and try to go back and think about all the things that you could have done differently or all the mistakes that you made. Because guess what? If you would change anything about your past, you would not be where you are today, and you would not be learning the lessons that you need to learn. You would be learning them a different way. They would come either way, because lessons always show us the weaknesses that we still need to work on. So either way, you would have learned this lesson that you're learning right now, but in a different way, maybe in a more painful way. So take it as it is for what it is right now. Just embrace it and say, you know what? I'm going to surrender to the flow of life. And I'm going to let life do what life wants to do. I'm going to have faith about my future, and I'm going to only control what I can control. And that is me. I can control me. I can control my thoughts, my actions, my desires, everything about me. And sometimes if I can't control my emotions or my thoughts, I'm just going to let them be. But I'm going to control my attitude and my actions. And I'm going to go and just do. So that's what I'm going to tell you to do right now. Whatever you've always wanted to do, screw everyone else. Screw the rest of the world. Go do what you need to do, and everything else and everyone else will fall into place into your life. Don't look for others to complete you. Don't look to others to bring you happiness. And don't chase happiness, because it's fleeting. It's not real. You got this. Put the focus back on you and just remember, anytime hardships or pain happens in your life and you start to get cloudy and you start to fall into it, just tell yourself, my answer is self-development. So I'm going to go and freaking work on myself, because we can always work on ourselves. No matter what, we can always work on ourselves. So go kill it today and make the rest of your life the best of your life.